guys. This is for Algebra 2. So this lesson is over the L.9 on geometry, on IXL, Algebra 2. It's an Algebra 2, L.10. And I believe this section is called simplifying radicals using distributive property. The main thing that you have to know for this section is if you have two radicals, so let's have the square root of a times the square root of b, that gets simplified into the square root of a times b. Okay, so for example, have the square root of 3 times the square root of 5. Well, that's get converted into the square root of 15, right? 3 times 5. That's one of the rules you have to learn, or that you're going to be using. Another one is if you have the same square root multiplied, so we have square root of a times square root of a, that becomes a. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if I have the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, that gives you 3. So those are the two main properties you're going to be using here for this IXL. Super easy. I'll go over 1 or 2 examples, and then they're all pretty much going to be the same. Okay. So one of the examples I have here in IXL is going to be square root of 3 times 9 plus the square root of 3. It's asking you to simplify it. So all we're going to do is, just like you would multiply this expression, you use the distributive property. So square root of 3 times 9, then square root of 3 times square root of 3. So square root of 3 times 9, that's just going to stay as 9 times the square root of 3, plus square root of 3 times square root of 3. So we have square root of 3 times square root of 3. And that's one of the properties, so that equals 3. Right? So square root of 3 times square root of 3 gives you 3. And that is going to be your answer. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let me type it in. So I have 9 square root of 3. 9 square root of 3 plus 3. There you go. Another one here. Oh, negatives. When you're multiplying negatives, it's the same rules as multiplication. Negative times a negative is a positive. Positive and a negative is a negative. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It follows the same rules as multiplication. So we have negative square root of 3 times negative 7 minus square root of 2. Okay, so here we're gonna distribute. So negative 3 times negative 7. So I'm gonna do it here off on the side. So I have negative 3. So negative square roots of 3 times negative 7. Right? Well, negative times a negative is a positive, so we're gonna be left with a positive, right? Negative times a negative is a positive, so we have 7 square roots of 3. Okay. And then for this other part, do it in red. Negative 7 times negative square roots of 2. So negative square roots of 3 times negative square roots of 2. Okay. Negative and a negative is a positive, so our answer is going to be a positive. Remember, when you have 2 square roots, you multiply what's inside. So we have square root of 6. And that is your answer. Okay. Your answer is going to be 7 square root of 3 plus square root of 6. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Make sure you guys submit this work. If you need help, let me know. Send me an email. I hope you guys out. Stay safe. Wash your hands.